collected. It has a whole chapter on the leadership that is fit to steer the country's affairs. It has Article 10 that gives us the principles, the values and principles of governance: inclusivity, respect for human rights, transparency, accountability. I do not have to say all of them.
Martha Karua, one of Kenya's most notable politicians and lawyers, is renowned for her unwavering commitment to justice, gender equality, and the fight against corruption. Born on April 22, 1957, in Kirinyaga County, her rise from a small village to become one of Kenya's most influential political figures is a testament to resilience, principles, and dedication to democratic and legal reforms. Throughout her career, Karua has carved out a legacy of courage, reform, and empowerment for women in politics. This documentary chronicles her journey, challenges, triumphs, and significant contributions to Kenya's political landscape. Martha Karua was born into a family deeply rooted in the Kikuyu culture of Kirinyaga County. Her father, Karua Gikonyo, was a teacher and a farmer, and her mother, Waivera Karua, was involved in agriculture and small-scale businesses. Both parents instilled a strong work ethic and a deep respect for education in their children. Martha's early education took place at Mumbi Primary School and later at Kirinyaga High School, where she began to show signs of ambition. Her growing interest in law led her to the University of Nairobi in 1977 and completed her law studies in 1980, where she earned a Bachelor of Laws degree. Upon passing the bar exams, Karua embarked on her legal career, a stepping stone to her foray into politics. Her academic achievements, coupled with her unyielding determination, set the foundation for her impactful career. Karua's personal life reflects her strength and determination. She is the mother of 2 children, a son, Njiru Karua, and a daughter, Wairimu Karua. Despite the public nature of her political career, her family life largely private. She was married to Mr. Karua, a local politician, but they later separated and she raised her children as a single mother. Though balancing her political responsibilities with personal life was challenging, Karua remained close to her children, who provided her with much needed support. The privacy she maintains around her family life stands as a reminder of her ability to navigate the public and private spheres with dignity. Karua's political career began in 1992 when she was elected as the Member of Parliament for Gatundu constituency in Kirinyaga County during Kenya's first multi-party elections. At a time when women were significantly underrepresented in the political arena, her election was groundbreaking. She entered a male-dominated political system where women were few and far between, and her election was seen as a victory for women's empowerment. Early on, Karua became a strong advocate for good governance, human rights, and the elimination of corruption. Her own experience growing up in a country marked by political management and corruption shaped her desire to pursue a life dedicated to legal reform and the empowerment of marginalized groups, particularly women and children. In 2002, after the National Rainbow Coalition, known as NARC, came to power, President Moi Kibaki appointed Karua as Minister of Justice and Constitutional Affairs. This was a groundbreaking achievement as she became one of the few women to hold such a prominent position in Kenyan politics. Her tenure was defined by a strong commitment to legal reforms, anti-corruption measures, and efforts to reshape Kenya's political judicial systems. One of her most significant contributions was her involvement in the drafting of Kenya's new constitution.
I do expect a lot of progress when Parliament opens on the review bills and on other legislative agenda. This Parliament has been very vibrant and has so far acquitted itself insofar as bills are concerned. All the previous materials that we have used are going to be relevant in the review process, and yes, they will include the materials at Bomas, including the Bomas draft, the views of Kenyans that have been previously given, and all other materials, including also the failed referendum draft,
which was passed in 2010. Her tireless advocacy for the yes vote during the 2005 constitutional referendum, though unsuccessful, solidified her as a principled leader. Beyond constitutional reforms, Karua worked on improving gender equality within Kenya's legal framework, advocating for women's rights to inherit land, own property, and access equal opportunities in both the workplace and the political sphere.
When you start entering the political space, people feel as a woman, or felt those days, I could see the vibes are like, this is not your territory. You sort of get questions like, when did you become a politician? And I noticed that my male colleagues who are equally involved in the national politics are not being asked the same question. One thing led to another. I joined as an active member the International Federation of Women Lawyers, Kenya chapter. We also formed a women's political lobby, the League of Kenya Women Voters, now daring to demand space in the political arena. And this fight for the constitution, for a new constitutional dispensation started. I was part of it, both as a member of civil society, as a member of parliament. And it culminated in the 2010 constitution, which has some very great gains for women and for people who had been marginalized before. It's a document for inclusion.
Despite facing resistance from entrenched political interests, Karua remained focused on her mission to ensure equality and justice for all. A key pillar of Karua's political journey has been her unrelenting fight against corruption in a country plagued by high-profile corruption scandals. She emerged as one of the loudest voices calling for accountability. Her time as Minister of Justice was marked by her dedication to fight impunity within the government. However, her anti-corruption stance was not without its challenges. The Golden Bag scandal, which involved the embezzlement of billions of shillings, was one of the most significant cases of corruption in Kenya. Despite her commitment on tackling corruption, Karua faced criticism for not doing enough to bring the culprits to justice.
In a question directed to the Attorney General, the Gishugu Member of Parliament Mother Karua had asked the AG to update Parliament on the legal status of the 12 Anglo-leasing related contracts. Although the AG informed the House that all the contracts had been terminated, he was unable to mention any single person who has been prosecuted over the 56 billion shilling scandal.
The Attorney General's office and the government do not want these cases to conclude.
Karua, who served as the Justice and Constitutional Affairs Minister before her recent resignation, took the AG to task, accusing him of not taking advantage of a role made by the Chief Justice for the cases to be concluded expeditiously.
The applicants, who are the Anglo leasers, were able to quickly obtain orders to stop investigations. Why hasn't the Attorney General taken advantage of the rules gazetted by the Chief Justice?
The Anglo-leasing scam surfaced after security supplies were not delivered and news that contracts had been overpriced,
which sparked heated debates in the country. Nonetheless, Karua's resolute stance against corruption and her administration from those who believed in a cleaner, more transparent government, even as it alienated powerful figures within the political elite. In 2007, Kenya's election descended into chaos when President Moi Kibaki was declared the winner of a highly disputed vote. The ensuing post-election violence led to the deaths of over 1,000 people and left many more displaced. At the time, Karua was serving as Minister of Justice and was thrust into a highly charged political and social environment. Although Karua was not directly responsible for the violence, she faced criticism from both the opposition and her allies for not doing enough to address the crisis. Her position within the government, which was accused of complicity in the violence, led to intense scrutiny. Despite this, Karua remained committed to advocating for constitutional reforms that would prevent future occurrences of violence and political instability. Throughout her career, Karua has consistently championed the rights of women and girls. She has been an outspoken advocate for gender equality, emphasizing the need for reforms in Kenya's political and legal systems to ensure women's equal access to opportunities and representation. In 2022, Karua made history by becoming the first woman in Kenya to be selected as a running mate for a presidential candidate. Chosen by Raila Odinga as his deputy in the Azimio la Umoja coalition, her selection was hailed as a major breakthrough for gender equality in Kenyan politics.
Because I'm a man of my word, I will task her with the assignment of completing what we started. And I am persuaded that she has the right pair of hands to accomplish this task. My dear Kenyans, cometh the hour, cometh the lady. I have the great honor to announce that I have picked as my running mate and Cabinet Secretary for Justice and Constitutional Affairs, the Honorable Martha Wangari Karua.
While the Odinga-Karua ticket did not win the election, her candidacy resonated deeply with women and marginalized communities and demonstrated her commitment to breaking barriers for women in leadership. Martha Karua's advocacy for human rights and justice extends beyond Kenya's border. Over the years, she has lent her voice and legal expertise to the struggles of opposition leaders in neighboring East African countries, including Uganda and Tanzania. In Uganda, Karua advocated for opposition leader facing government persecution.
Some of us went in, but eventually he has seen all the visiting lawyers who have come in as observers, and we have agreed that, or rather we have pointed out to him, as of today, the prisons have no valid warrant to be able to continue holding Dr. Chisa Besije and Obed Lutare as the court at Makindye did not sit today following the court's ruling, it means the warrant has not been extended for detention. But the commissioner requires, the prisons require the advice of the Attorney General. So there are certain actions to be taken to expedite that, and that's what we are going to do. But we realize that, yes, we need to engage the Attorney General's office. We already were in the process of doing that, but we needed to point out to the prisons that they have no valid warrant to continue remanding our clients. Yeah. But we all know that any government department relies on the advice of the Attorney General. Our call is to the Attorney General to expedite, because this situation is untenable. Should they fail to release Dr. Besigye and Lutale today, they will be holding them illegally. Yeah. We are saying also because Uganda is a democracy. The Constitution declares it a republic. Uganda is also a member of the East African community. One foundational principle is the rule of law principle. So we are very hopeful that upon the decision of the Supreme Court being explained and broken down to all the institutions from the highest to the lowest involved, that they will all opt to obey the rule of law. The Constitution is supreme, and the Constitution reflects the will of all Ugandans, whichever branch of the government they belong to. So we are hopeful, and now we are going to put in some more work towards the release of our clients. Once a warrant expires, any continued detention is illegal and contrary to the law, a violation of the Constitution, a violation of the orders of the Supreme Court. Asante.
Her attempts to seek justice, particularly in the case of Kizzy Besigye, were frequently obstructed by Ugandan authorities, raising questions about Kenya's foreign policy stance towards its neighboring countries.
The humiliating body search that I was subjected to twice, and all members of the legal profession were subjected to. First at the gate, then as we entered the courtroom, another body search.
In Tanzania, Martha Karua was deported after advocating for human rights and attempting to defend opposition figures. Under President Samia Suluhu Hassan, the Tanzanian government intensifies its crackdown on opposition leaders and activists. Karua's efforts to represent opposition leader Tundu Lissu led to her expulsion on the grounds that she lacked a license to practice law in the country.
Chilling at Mwalimu Nyerere International Airport, Dar es Salaam, where the three of us have been detained awaiting deportation. We thought that as citizens of Jumuiya we were free, but not yet uhuru. The great Mwalimu Nyerere, who welcomed all people, the oppressed of Africa, this is not what he must have envisaged, that we can be detained here. The common thread among us, we are guests of East Africa Law Society, and there is fear in this government of our dear Mama Suluhu about people who may be interested in the politically motivated cases against Tundu Lissu. We were detained for no offense, for merely seeking to go and stand in solidarity and to observe the trial of Tundu Lissu. The CCM authorities are determined to violate the law and are not keen on according Tundu Lissu a fair trial. We notice that it's like there is now collaboration in oppressing citizens. We want to tell you that citizens of East Africa, and I am one of them, we are not going to take it lying down. To Mama Samia Suluhu, drop the charges against Tundu Lissu Stop chasing around shadows. As observers, we have nothing to do with what is happening.
The incident sparked a diplomatic dispute between Kenya and Tanzania, underscoring the personal and political risk Karua was willing to take in her pursuit of justice, regardless of national boundaries or political consequences.
Niwaombe, katika matamko yanayotoka, ni vyema wizara na vyombo vyetu vya ulinzi na usalama mkajibu kwa haraka, mkachukua hatua za haraka, aidha kutoa ufafanuzi, kukanusha, au kama ni la kweli kukubaliana na kuchukua hatua za kurekebisha. Lakini tusiwe shamba la bibi, kwamba kila mtu anaweza kuja akasema nalo litaka, lipo Tanzania halipo, watu wakajisemea tu. Lakini la pili, tumeanza kuona mtiririko au mwenendo wa wanaharakati ndani ya region yetu hii kuanza kuvamia na kuingilia mambo yetu huku. Sasa kama kwao wameshadhibitiwa, wasije kutuharibia huku. Tusitoe nafasi. Walishaharibu kwao, walishavuruga kwao. Nchi iliyobaki haijaharibika. Watu wako na usalama na amani na utulivu, ni hapa kwetu. Kuna majaribio kadhaa. Niwaombe sana vyombo vya ulinzi na usalama na nyinyi wasimamizi wa sera zetu nje, kutoa nafasi kwa watovu wa adabu wa nchi nyingine kuja kutovuka hapa kwetu. Hapana. Nimeona klipu kadhaa za kunisema niko bias na nini. Nalofanya ni kulinda nchi yangu, na ndio wajibu niliopewa. Kwa hiyo hatutatoa nafasi kwa kiumbe yoyote kuja kutuvurugia hapa, awe yupo ndani au anatoka nje. Hatutatoa hiyo nafasi.
Thank Her Excellency Samia Suluhu Hassan for calling out activists who wanted to go and disrupt the peace in Tanzania. In fact, should have detained and prosecuted them because they have taught this country bad manners, Mr. Speaker. These activists have taught our people to insult, to undermine, to lose respect to the leadership of this country, Mr. Speaker. Tanzania is a very peaceful country. And what President Samia Suluhu Hassan said, we should respect our countries, Mr. Speaker. There is mutual respect. And I hope as the activists run around East Africa trying to meddle in the internal affairs, they must be put to stop, Mr. Speaker. Because what business would you have to go and meddle in affairs of Tanzania? What business, Mr. Speaker? These activists, and I want to ask President Samia Suluhu Hassan, Mr. Speaker, of Tanzania, to be very careful, because these activists are funded by enemies of Africa who want to destabilize the unity, the peace and tranquility of most African nations, Mr. Speaker. You saw even in the last Gen Z protests, Mr. Speaker, there were allegations that international donors were financing instability, Mr. Speaker, in this country using what we call international donors, Mr. Speaker. So I want to ask the President Samia Suluhu Hassan that in the spirit of East Africa, he should assist us to discipline some of these ill-behaved activists that have continued to destabilize Kenya, Mr. Speaker.
Mr. Speaker, is it in order for the Senator of Nandi, who is a lawyer, to actually misinform the House and misinform the public on what informs the action of deportation of Kenyans from Tanzania, Mr. Speaker? Mr. Speaker, if you look at Article 104 of the EAC Common Market Protocol of 2015, it expressly says and guarantees the freedom of movement of service, labor, and goods within the East African region. If you look at the treaty, Mr. Speaker, that was established in 1999, Mr. Speaker, it allows the tenets of democracy to actually permeate in the region entirely, Mr. Speaker. How can Senator Chiragei allow the existence of those treaties, Mr. Speaker? This is something that must be condemned and is not right and could actually lead to reciprocation by Kenyans for other members, Mr. Speaker. So is it factual that that's the tenets of a democracy, Mr. Speaker, that dictatorship in Tanzania is exclusive to our dictatorship in the country?
Senator has heard you. Let him respond.
The Senator Eddie should withdraw and apologize. There is no dictatorship in Tanzania because they do elections regularly. Correct. So it is very wrong. Mr. Speaker, I wanted to answer point of order and after.
1 minute.
Yes. So he must withdraw and apologize because Samia Suluhu Hassan president, she has been elected to be in that office alongside the late Magufuli. Number 2, under the EAC treaty, it talks about goods and services. Martha Karua and other busybody activists are not defined as goods and services. Unless I got it, the treaty of 1999.
Goods, services and labor.
And which labor was a busybodies activist? The Martha Karua and Boniface were taking to Tanzania, Mr. Speaker. And NGO money and cloud chasing in TikTok and Facebook, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, with those many remarks, I submit and I pray that we go to mediation, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I shall not be intimidated. These are people who are financed
Senator
by NGOs,
Boni.
Mr. Speaker. I will not be moved. If they have eaten NGOs money from Soros, Mr. Speaker, you should ensure.
Senator Chalgei, you have finished. Assume your seat. Senator Mboni.
Yes. Mr. Speaker, with all due respect, I think, however emotional we can become during debate, but we must uphold parliamentary language. Mr. Speaker, Mother Karua is an honorable member who has served this republic not only in this house, but also in cabinet. And Mr. Speaker, Mother Karua was one of the engines behind the success of the promotion of the fast tracking of the East African community. Mr. Speaker, for the Senator of Nandi to call Mother Karua and Professor Willy Mutunga as busybodies should not reflect anywhere in the records of this house. You'll have time.
What is out of order, Senator Boni Karua?
In fact, I'm on point of order.
Because you are now also trying to do a debate. So what is your point of order? Be specific.
Yes. The point of order is the Honorable Senator, in order to use unparliamentary language, and have specified calling distinguished Kenyans busybodies. Is he in order? Mr. Speaker, I demand that he withdraws and apologizes abundantly to William Tunga, Professor, and Mother Karua. I would forgive him if he's talking about people like Boniface Mwangi. That's okay. But not these two characters, these distinguished Kenyans, Mr. Speaker.
Yes, Senator Chalgei.
Mr. Speaker, I just say busybodies. People are busy. In fact, I am better than President Samia Suluhu Hassan, who say viumbe. In fact, I am better. I'm saying they are busybodies. What is their job description as at now? They are former, so we know what they are trying to achieve. These are activists who want to.
Senator Mboni Karua, your point of order is on standing under 122.
Yes.
122, 1B.
122, yes.
When a senator declines to retract use of unparliamentary language or declines to offer apologies, despite having been ordered to do so by the Speaker, so he becomes gross disorderly conduct. That is where now you are going to, and you know the consequences. We must respect the standing orders like in the Bible.
Okay.
So that we can.
Mr. Speaker, with tremendous respect, because you are the chair of Njuri Njeke, I withdraw and substitute. It's a respected house of decision among the Ameru community.
It's a
yes.
Council of Elders.
Council of Elders. It is recognized under the Constitution.
One of them actually revamped.
And I was there.
Yes.
In fact, when I was there with you, the Njurinjeke went into a trance as you approached to address them. So I have every right to ensure that Mr. Speaker, I withdraw the word busybody and good for nothing individuals, Mr. Speaker. Thank you.
The Senator Olekina Renda.
Sasa ndugu zangu, tunawaomba sana ndugu zetu. Nyinyi Kenya ni majirani zetu. Tunawaheshimu, tunafanya na nyie kazi. Tunaomba sana, lakini nimewaza sana usiku nikasema kwani hawa wana shida gani? Mmoja ameuliza. Akasema hivi, nyinyi wa Tanzania sisi tunapiga kelele, tunasema, tunawatukana, mpo kimya, mna mpango gani? Mnataka kutuloga? Nikagundua lipo tatizo kubwa sana la afya ya akili katika taifa hili. Ni washauri bure, sio dhambi. Sisi wenzenu CAG wetu yule auditor general, wenyewe na auditor general wenu wa Kenya, amefanya uchambuzi wa swala la afya ya akili nchini, na tunatengeneza mekanizimu ya kusaidiana. Kwa hiyo wakati mwingine unapomkuta mama mtu mzima msomi aliyesoma sheria anaondoka kwake, anapanda na nauli, bahati mbaya ukimwangalia uso wake hauna matumaini. Ukimwangalia uso ule, sijui ni mkologo umedunda, sijui ni alisahau kupaka poda, anakuja kutuchonganisha. Ile sio hali ya kawaida. Na walichokifanya askari wetu ni kumdhibiti, kwa sababu kishaona mtu akili yake haifanyi kazi vizuri, unamsaidia kumdhibiti. Na kazi ya jeshi letu la polisi ni kubaini na kudhibiti, wakati ndio kazi yao nyingine. Na wakati mwingine jeshi la polisi, nashukuru Mheshimiwa Waziri umesoma katika ukurasa wa 23, moja ya mambo mlofanya pamoja na operation na vitu vingine, mmetanzua uhalifu. Hiyo ndo namna ya kutanzua uhalifu. Sisi wa Tanzania tuna moyo na nyie, mtu asiwabagaze. Tungeshangaa sana watu wanakuja hapa wanaanzisha mambo yao ya maandamano, wametoka nchi nyingine, wanavuruga vijana wetu, wanakuja kuzuia utulivu wa utendaji wa mahakama, chombo kinachotoa haki katika taifa letu, halafu nyie mpo. Tungeshangaa sana.
Martha Karua's political career stands as a testament to her unwavering commitment to justice, equality, and the rule of law. From her role in drafting Kenya's new constitution to her steadfast opposition to corruption, Karua's leadership has shaped Kenya's political landscape for the better. Her legacy, however, is not just defined by her political achievements, but by her role in breaking barriers for women in leadership. Karua has inspired countless women to step into the political arena, challenging societal norms and proving that justice and integrity can triumph, even in the face of immense political and personal challenges. Martha Karua's journey is a story of courage, determination, and unwavering commitment to creating a better Kenya for all. Her legacy will continue to inspire generations of leaders both in Kenya and across the continent for years to come.